Would you like 2 to 300 AP without having to pay for a refresh? There's a tool in this game for that, but very few people actually know how to properly utilize it. So let's talk about that today. Today we're talking about fusing realm cards. So this is a tricky topic because there's kind of two schools of thought around this, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it essentially comes down to maxing out your XP or maxing your resources. And that's something that we're going to talk about. In addition to that, I want to talk about how you actually go about fusing. And there's kind of different ways to do that based on what your end goal is. In addition to that, I want to make sure that we talk about using private shares so that we can actually know how to properly share those with friends. I've seen some questions around that. But basically, I want to make sure that people are knowing how to utilize these realm cards in such a way that it actually benefits them. All right, so first topic. Let's talk about the two schools of thought. First off, you have the option of trying to max out your resources. These cards can be used to create special cards. Those special cards allow you to get various resources like jade, coins, and AP. Now that's really important for some people, and so they actually spend their time trying to build these cards towards that. And you're going to want to treat it differently if that's your goal. You can also shoot for XP, which is also an option, but also requires a different kind of fusing. Personally, I actually like going for the resources. I don't find that the XP that you get from these cards is so significant that you should be just mainlining straight for the experience cards with absolutely no thought in mind as to getting additional resources. Things like Jade, AP, to some degree coins, but not as much, are very valuable in this game, and getting them can be quite difficult. And so if you're able to try to get extra amounts of those resources, you're going to be able to put yourself a little bit ahead, especially if you're a free-to-play player. So personally, if you're trying to make a decision, I recommend trying to go the route of going for additional resources, not the extra XP. Okay, so how do you actually fuse these cards? Well, before we get into that, let's talk about the different types of cards that there are. Because there are, in total, that I'm aware of immediately, there are 5 types of cards, right? I think they just added some gourmet cards in with some event stuff, but those are limited time. So let's talk about the 5 main cards. First, you have moon cards. These are your basic cards. Everyone should have these. You're going to have tons of them. These are going to be your basic fusion fodder, right? Like, this is how you're going to actually put stuff together. And you're going to have tons of these. Before we get to the regular types, I want to talk about the friend pack kinds of cards, and those are the lightning drums. Lightning drums are pretty useful, and we're actually going to do a little bit of an experiment here with them in just a moment. But essentially what they give you is they give you a 4-hour buff, giving you 2400 XP, which is significantly more than a standard Moon 2 card, which is only 1200. And in addition to that, you get some shards. It's generally, I think it generally comes out, well, it's 1 per hour here. And then if your friends join in, it's like 6 shards is what they get. But it's absolutely worth it if you're just trying to go for your daily and just trying to dump something in there. It's a good way while you're trying to build up your moon cards to be able to use those instead of moon cards, so you can save up moon cards for fusion fodder. Okay, so you saw another one of the special cards here just a little bit ago. Fish is actually one of the most important in the game, simply because AP can be so costly. But at a low level, they give very few AP. However, when I mentioned the 2 to 300 AP at the very beginning, that was actually if you fuse up get a fish card at 5 to 6. And so these can be very valuable if you can get them to around G5 to G6. And then there is, I just saw it here a little bit ago, umbrellas. Umbrellas are kind of your secondary type. That no one really gives too big of a deal about, because they just grant coins, and coins by themselves can be fairly easily found. But there are times, like during this betting event that was going on, that you really want to try to get as many of those as possible. So coins obviously are a nice resource as well. Okay, so the final card are drums, and drums you actually get jade with, which makes them very, very good to have. Generally speaking, my list of preferred is jade, fish, umbrella, then moon. So generally speaking, really be on the lookout for drums. which are different than lightning drums. Bear that in mind. Lightning drums and drums are two different things. So drums, then fish, then umbrella, then moon, and then you fit in lightning drums wherever you can. And that's pretty much the types you're looking for. Now that you know the types of cards that are available, it's time to find out where you actually get these kind of cards. And the most likely source of being able to find as many cards as possible is doing realm raids. Anytime you go in and you do a realm raid, there's a fairly decent chance, I've not gotten an actual number, but I would say it's above 50% chance that you actually are able to get a realm card. So we'll go ahead and jump over here and do one right now. Okay, so we just won a realm raid, and I only had to do 2 of them before one of these popped up. We got a 1-star moon card. So you're actually going to be able to get quite a bit of fodder actually running these. If you want to try to find a bunch of realm cards, or if you want to try to find a bunch of realm cards, do a bunch of realm raids. The other thing that I find that they come from is you'll occasionally have bonus realm raids in the demon encounter. And in the demon encounter, you'll get rewards of special types of cards, generally only at the G1, G2 level. You can also occasionally find them from events. Those are generally higher level cards in the G5 to G6 range. You can buy them as part of packages if you're someone who spends money on the game. And then finally, you occasionally get them from the quizzes in the Demon Encounter section. I've not seen any other places that are coming to my mind yet. If anyone else can think of any, feel free to drop it in the comments below. But those are going to be your main sources of being able to get realm cards, main one being realm raids. Now you're saying, Stradimus, I don't care about all the extra resources. I only want as much XP as I possibly can get. How do I take advantage of Fusion in order to get the highest level XP cards I can get? Well, for those, you're actually going to want to fuse all of your cards. Now, the things you have to know about fusing cards is that if you fuse all cards of a single rank, so if I fuse all G1, right, there is a chance that it will upgrade anywhere from 2 to 3. It will generally, I don't think I've ever seen it do more than two ranks of a jump, so it's generally just up to 2 ranks higher, generally only 1. You do need to be aware that there are times that you will get no upgrade whatsoever. Your fusion will have been wasted and you'll be stuck with only 1 of the same kind of card. So in this case, if we were to fuse these 3 G1 cards, it actually just happened. We have 1 G1 card. We wasted 3 to get 1, and it didn't upgrade at all. So you need to be aware that that's a possibility. In addition to that, if you're fusing cards that are a special type, they actually tend to increase the chance. Now, I don't know the actual math behind this. It would take a lot of data collection and a long time before I would actually know what the chances are. But generally speaking, from what I can tell, using 3 specialty cards, so like using 3 umbrellas, does not grant you a significant chance, at least not worthy enough of to be called a significant chance, of getting a specialty card that is the next grade higher. Generally speaking, from everyone I've seen do this, and this is anecdotal stories, I understand, using 2 regular cards and a specialty card are generally your best bet. Even then, you're not going to be able to get anything 100%. So again, this was another G1. And you're going to see that happen a lot, right? In trying to do these fusions, it's going to happen to you a lot, unfortunately. That's why you have to farm so many of these. Okay, so that's how we're taking a look at doing this through XP farming. Like I said, if you have specialty cards and your goal is shooting for XP, if they're anything less than, I would say, G4, I would fuse them together to get it out of the way, right? You want to get those out as soon as possible. And as soon as you're out of the G4 range, or once you're into the G4 range, if you get a specialty card, then maybe consider using it. But if your main goal is experience, specialty cards aren't going to do you a lot, especially if they're less than G4. Okay, so before we get to specialty cards, I actually want to do a little bit of an experiment that I've been waiting to run for a little while now. Everyone's always asked me, are lightning drums worth fusing, or should I simply use them? And honestly, I don't know. I think they might have higher chances for giving you a better specialty card, but there's no like lightning drum G3 that I've seen. So I've collected a few of them, and we're gonna try it just to see how it goes and see what we get out of it. It's a small little test run. I don't expect to be able to say anything definitively, but maybe we can get an idea. So 3 lightning drums gave us a G2 Jade, or G2 drums. Let's see here, G2 fish. Man, this is a bummer. Everything is staying at the same rank. Okay, so that's a G3 umbrella. G2 drums. Dude, this is... I'm going to be really bummed if this was a giant waste. I spent a couple weeks trying to get all these together. G2 drums. G2 umbrella. Yeah. So far what I'm thinking is fusing lightning drums is a bad idea. Hey, there we go. G4 drums, finally. So it's definitely looking like it's always going to come out. Like right now, right? Lightning drums are looking like they always give you a specialty card. Right now it looks like that way. Do we have any more lightning drums? No. Okay. So you do need to be aware that that's a possibility that you're just going to get a bunch of G2 versions of what you already wanted. Or of specialty cards that, quite frankly, when they're at G2, are not as good as lightning drums. Now, J drums, G4 drums, are definitely a lot more worth it. So I don't know. It's a tough call, but clearly there's no, G3 lightning drums, right? I've never seen any. I didn't suspect there were any. And after doing that, I think that pretty much seals the deal. Is it worth it? I don't think so. I think I would rather just run the G3 drums. They give a lot of experience for the 4-hour window they're open. I like getting shards because it gives me a chance to summon stuff. Some people might feel differently, but I think I would rather just keep them out there, right? That's how I feel. Because as you're going to find out, where we really start to worry about getting the specialty cards when you're trying to go for the specialty cards is once they're already into G5 and G6, and at that point it's like they've probably been fused back into Moon by then, and you're about to see that right now. We're actually going to do this. So we're moving into the fusing to get resources. I would say that if you're doing this, right, if your goal is fusing to get resources, right, you do not want to constantly be using your cards, right? These are not the people. So if you're running experience, run them all the time. G4 plus card, make sure you have it going with whatever resource you want to make sure you have, right? Or G4 of whatever moon card you happen to have. G4 plus of whatever moon card you happen to have. But if you're trying to do this for resources, it is very difficult to wash cards with G1 cards, which I'll explain what that is shortly, and to keep a card up constantly. In those cases, I recommend, if you're doing it with this method, you don't worry about constantly having a realm card up. You put whatever your minimum up is for the day to be able to complete your daily quest, and after that, you're going to start fusing, starting at G2 cards and up. Okay, so what am I talking about starting at G2 cards and up? Your G1 cards are going to be saved for a special purpose. Do not use those to fuse if you're going for the special resource cards. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do like I was suggesting, which is taking a specialty kind of card with 2 other cards. Helps improve the chance. It doesn't make it 100%. Don't even know that it's going to upgrade. Might not be worth it. But at the same time, G2 is not going to give you much, so saving it to use is also probably not worth it. Okay, so I got G2. And you're going to see it. I'm going to get screwed on this a lot. It's going to be painful, which is why you have to save so many of these up. Okay, so that one went from a G2 to G4. Now, if you notice, I also lost my Umbrellas card, which is why I'm saying that fusing the lightning drums might not be worth it. That one stayed G2. This one is staying G2. And if you notice, I'm losing all kinds of specialty drums. Or specialty cards. That one went to G3. Do I have... Where is... Oop, nope, don't want that. You always want to fuse the same levels together. Am I out of specialty G2s? Yeah, okay. So, just fuse all G2s. Okay, that one went to G4. Nice. That one went to G4. G2. 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 Man, this rate is terrible. I don't remember it being this bad. That one went G3. G3. G2. G4. G2. G2. Oh my god. Every time it goes G2, I die a little inside. This is why. Alright, and then we're going to fuse. I just want to see. We're going to fuse a lightning drum with 2 G2s. I want to see how likely we are to get something else. Do they make a full chance? No. Okay. So it looks like you have a very minimal chance. Or just the same as using a specialty card. And that would also stay G2 because, of course, the game hates me. Okay, so 3. Let's fuse our 3s together. And then you're going to do this all the way through, right? That one stayed G3. And we've got to make sure we use a specialty card. That one just became a fish G3. Ugh. I guess we're going to fuse a fish G3, an umbrellas G3, and a moon G3. Which became a regular G3. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. It's very painful. The process is super unreliable. It can be very difficult. Now, here's where we're at. We have 1, 2, 3, 4... Was it 8? 7. We have 7 G4 cards. At this point, if you have a specialty G4 card, drums G4 in this case, save it. Don't use it. Use it for actual placement, right? Some people are going to argue that leveling up or fusing these G4s might not be worth it. They get very cringy. But if you want to be able to get real substantial gains from your cards for these additional resources, you do need to fuse G4 cards. So it's going to be very painful because I know how this is going to go, and it's going to make me want to just cringe so hard. Please don't screw me over. Please. Please. All right, G5. I'll take it. That's fine. That's fine. And then we're going to do one more here. This G4, or these 3 G4. Yeah, there we go. That's what I expected. Okay, we got 1 G5. That's all that matters, right? This is what I wanted to show you now. This is why we've saved all of these G1 cards. Now, if at the end of all of this, I still have just tons of G1, we can actually go ahead and start fusing some of those G1s together. But for the moment, what we're trying to do is we're trying to take all of these 1s and we're trying to push them into this 5 in order to force it to re-roll as a G5 over and over and over again until we can get a specialty card. So we're going to keep doing that until it happens. And I'm going to go ahead and jump over to whenever that happens right now. Okay, so it wasn't the one I specifically want, but it did switch over to umbrellas. Now, if you're saying that I don't want umbrellas, I want Jade, or I want AP, then you need to keep going. And in that case, I am going to. So let's see if we can do that. Okay, so it didn't happen. This is really bad luck on my part. Every one of those 1s went in, and I got 1 umbrella, and even after switching out and trying to go for more, it still didn't go into anything. So this is a very intensive process. So as you can see, if you're going for resources, you need to make sure that you're saving cards and not having something up all the time. In this particular case, I am going to use drums. I'm going to place drums, and we'll show you the next step here in a little bit. I do want to let you guys know that in my experience, what you just saw here was very bad luck. It's generally not this bad, but man, was it bad this time. Yeah, I'm so frustrated with how bad this went. But I will say that you should expect that it's still going to be bad, right? Like, it's still going to be tough. You're still going to go through a lot of resources. I do suggest that you save up a bunch. Hopefully your luck goes a little bit better than mine, but if you want to get additional resources, this is how to do it. Okay, so finally, after we're done with all the fusing, let's talk about private sharing. And so in this case, you have the ability, right, when you have a G4 card or higher, to choose between public or private. If you choose private, you can then select specific people who are able to actually benefit from your card. So in this case, I'm going to activate, right? And then from there, you can choose who to invite. Streusel and Adorably commonly share special cards with me, so I'll make sure I invite them as well, right? And so they'll have the option then to jump in there. And you can save these specifically for people who are friends of yours who might be able to share back with you really nice cards. Once you have switched over to private, that's it. You can no longer do public. You have to stick to private. So you have to make sure you make that conscious decision that there's people you want to have on your friends list who are getting this. But this is a good process for being able to trade with people. If you have people who are sharing really good cards with you, and if you share it with people you know constantly have good cards, maybe they'll start including you, which is a good option to leave yourself. Okay, guys, well, this is a bit of a bummer as far as my luck goes, but I hope that you were able to learn quite a bit as far as how these realm cards work. I know it's really tricky for people to understand how they work. I know they're not very reliable on their fusions, and sometimes it can be pretty painful, as you just saw. But I hope this cleared up a lot of your questions as far as anything you might have. I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. If you like this one, please leave a like. If not, leave a dislike. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.